Bear Razor says, how would you answer the question, what do you do for fun? Well, they're basically asking you about your hobbies. I'm assuming you're talking about in a job interview here or on some kind of job application. Now, what they love to do in those two situations is get you to go off script. That's not a question we usually plan for when we're rehearsing to do a job interview. And they love to get you to go off script because that's where you reveal all kinds of things about yourself that you haven't vetted, you haven't filtered, and that's where they trip you up. Now, whether you like inverted lawnmower jumping or you like dogfighting or mountain ice kayaking where you go down the ice cliff in a kayak, right? Maybe attached to a bungee cord, hey, whatever turns your crank. How does that tie in with like this job bagging groceries at Sobeys or something? You know what I mean? What does it matter? They're asking you about hobbies, what you do for fun. You can like, with a few mental gymnastics, you can say how that might be relevant, but it's not obvious, right? They're asking you about something unrelated to the job. It's not directly related. They're just trying to get you to reveal things about yourself. And the problem with going into that sort of territory is that you get into the territory of psychology, where you get these idiot amateur psychologist types. They're now going to infer something about you because of your answer. You said you like to watch movies. Therefore, that means you're an introvert. That means you're not a team player. Red flag. It's like, what? So I would rather avoid that type of question. I'd rather not engage with it. And I would say something like, I do various things, various typical things, mundane things, for fun, just to unwind. But I really don't want to get into it. That's kind of personal stuff. I would rather not engage on stuff like that. It's just like any unrelated question that they could ask you. They could say like, what do you think about Israel and Palestine? What's that got to do with this job? But if you say, oh, I support this or that or, whatever, they're going to read into some kind of psychology 101, like, oh, that must mean that you're hard to work with or something. It's like, what? So I'd rather not engage on questions like that. I'd rather shut it down and instead fall back on a default answer. What's your default answer? Your default answer is to tell them stuff that you have, that they said that they were looking for, right? What do I do for fun? If I wanted to actually say something rather than void it, I would say, well, anything where I get to work with people, get to help people out, anything constructive where I can assist in building something with someone else, like anything like that is good. There you go. There's my answer, right? Because if they're going to like use this stuff to like assess you and try and find red flags, you're just going to wriggle out of that trap. That's how I would deal with it. Alex says, how do you resist in a 12-hour job, 3 days, then 3 days off, then 3 days without sitting down? I feel like that my 25 years old, 3-month experience trains me well. What? How to resist in a 12-hour job, then 3 days off. So fort without sitting down. I like that my 25 years. I'm sorry, you lost me. Problem is the non-existent sitting down when you work 12 hours in that schedule. Okay, so like you got to be standing to do your job, like you're standing at a workstation or something like that. I don't know what you mean by how to resist that. Like, I don't know, quit, don't apply for it. Talk to your boss, say I'd like transfer out of this type of job. I don't know.